Hello.
Hi.
Quick note for our listeners. This episode was recorded in advance for my maternity leave. You're hearing it over the summer. For Shane and I, it's the beginning of May. So if we say anything that sounds out of place with whatever the current events are, that's why.
Yeah, if we're not talking about the aliens that have invaded.
It's because we didn't know yet.
In July, Independence Day.
Right.
Like that movie.
Right. We're going to have, aliens are going to come in July, and we'll have to do an emergency podcast recording so we can talk about it. Okay. Yes, so just wanted to throw that out off the bat. And do you have anything you want to say?
How you...
I think Frappuccino is the trademark Starbucks term for it. So these are just fraps or frappes. I don't really know. Frap.
It's milk with ice in it, and it tastes like junk.
No, mine's delicious. You don't like it?
It tastes good, yeah.
I was going to say mine is so good.
It's like hot chocolate flavored, but it's cold.
It's a Java chip frap with vanilla cold foam on the top, and it is delectable.
What kind of chips do you have in yours? I got Cool Ranch Doritos.
That is disgusting. Ew. I hate that. It's Cool Ranch Dorito with coffee, chocolate, milk, and cream. That's nasty.
I have Java chips. Cool Ranch Dorito.
Ew. Do you want to say anything before I jump in here?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Quit stirring your cup so close to the mic. You can hear the straw.
Hannah put these in the blender and left me one huge ice cube. Everything else is perfectly blended. There's one gigantic ice cube.
I asked if it looked good, and you said yes, so you missed the ice cube too. We were both at fault there. I told you to look at it and see if it needed blended more.
Went to a shooting competition over the weekend.
And how did it go?
It went terrible. It was hot and miserable. And it rained. It stormed in North Carolina. And so they shut her down at 2 in the day. And it was pouring the rain, and they shut a bunch of people down. People didn't get to shoot the rest of the stages. And I guess people travel from all around to go to these matches. So there's people that traveled farther than I did, which we drove 3.5 hours. There's people that drove farther than that to get there. And so they just had to I guess sleep in their cars or get hotels if they wanted to shoot the next day and finish everything. And the way that we heard tell of it, we thought our assumption was that they would just be just credit my account for the entry. I'll put it on the next one or whatever. And just put it as a DNF. And what apparently is the rules is that if you didn't come back the next day and shoot, then they would give you zeros basically for everything. Man. Which would be they would give you misses for everything. Mm-hmm. And wouldn't put your scores in and weren't going to refund anybody. And so I guess a bunch of people had to shoot both days. And when we got there, it was it was hot and miserable, and the sun was out, and there was no rain, which was fine. But the ranges were muddy, so we had to go down and pace targets and stuff, and you just walk through mud to get there, and it's terrible. So, but they have a little cat who stands outside of the. They've got a building there that's their headquarters building or whatever. Yeah. And they have a little cat that sleeps outside. They have a little house for him. Aww, and he's cute. And he's friendly. He doesn't run off like other stray cats do. He's just cute. He's nice. So I got to pet him a little bit. And they had a cheeseburger waiting on me. And the guy was like, "Hey, do you want to pay for this meal ticket?" And I was like, "How much is it?" And he's like, "It's $5. You get a cheeseburger and fries or whatever." And I was like, "Yeah, I'll do that." There's nowhere else on earth you can get a cheeseburger and fries for $5 in America. So
facts.
Thanks, Obama. Anyway, I was going to go get that, and I couldn't find the place where they were at.
Sad.
So I went into every building, and I couldn't find a cheeseburger one anywhere. So, and I didn't see anybody else eating cheeseburgers, so I didn't get to ask anybody. Like, and trust me, I looked at every fat guy who was there. Like,
Shane.
Anybody that looks like me, I'm like, does he have it? And nobody did. So I think I was scammed.
It's possible.
Yeah. So they also do raffles there. And my name, I won the raffle.
What'd you get?
I thought the raffle, typically, if you pay for a raffle ticket, they like raffle off a gun. But the guy wouldn't tell me what they were raffling. He was like, oh, there's a bunch of stuff. So I got a call, and he was like, hey, you won the raffle. And I was like, oh, sick. You can just ship a gun wherever. And he was like, well, you got a hat. And I was like, oh, okay. And he was like, so are you still at the range? And I was like, nope. And he goes, are you local? And I was like, no, I'm in West Virginia. And he goes, where's that? And I was like,
Nuh-uh.
3.5 hours north.
He did not say where is West Virginia.
And I'm on my way back. And he goes, oh, well, are you going to be back here soon? And I was like, not until next year.
Oh my.
And he goes, oh, well, what do you want us to do with this hat?
Mail it.
He was like, we can't ship it.
Why?
And I was like, well, you can have it. And he goes, I can't have it. And I was like, well, I want it. And I say, you can have it. And he goes, well, we can redraw for it. And I was like, yeah, do that. Like, I'm not coming back. I'm already 2 hours away.
Why can't they mail it to you?
Because it costs like $14 to ship anything in the USPS, I mean. So. And then my buddy Shannon got a call, and they were like, hey, you want a boar snake? And he's like, buddy, I'm not driving 2 hours back to that range for a $12 boar snake. And they were like, well, what do you want us to do with it? And he's like, throw it over the hill. Don't care. Don't care what you do with it. Like, so yeah. And it was cool. And the highlight of the trip was getting 5 guys at the end, because I shot like junk. And nobody knew what they were doing. The range officers didn't know how to run the timers. And 5 guys gave me a $10 gift card. So,
well, there's at least one positive thing.
Yep. And
why did they give you a gift card?
I don't know. It's just like a promo. They gave all of us $10 gift cards.
That's cool.
So, yeah. It says, on the front, it says up to $10. So I was like, what is this, like 50 cents? But on the back, it says redeemable for $10. So. Yeah. If it's not $10, I'm gonna throw a fit. I'm gonna go full Karen into 5 guys.
Okay.
Like,
anything else you want to share?
Yeah, 5 guys is charging $20 for a cheeseburger these days. Okay.
I want to tell the story. Anything else important you want to share?
Yeah, you know what else they're charging for? Yeah.
Okay, my turn to talk.
Go ahead. What story are we doing?
Well, I'll tell you. All right, so you've heard of the Bermuda Triangle?
Nope, haven't. What's that?
I'm doing the intro. Shush.
This is where the music goes?
Yeah, the music goes.
Okay.
Stop talking. You've heard of the Bermuda Triangle, but what about the Bridgewater Triangle? This area in southeastern Massachusetts is home to cryptids, UFOs, ghosts, curses, and so much more. What in the world is going on here? This is
Country Roads Creeps. I have a mouthful of frappuccino.
All right, have you heard of the Bridgewater Triangle?
I've heard the name. I don't know anything about it.
Well, good. You can learn today. All right, so stop. It's my turn to talk.
Sorry, I was like, I've heard of the equilateral triangle and the isosceles triangle.
We talked about equilateral triangles today at school.
Really? Uh-huh. What can you tell me about them?
All 3 sides are equal, and all 3 angles are equal. Stop. No, I'm telling this story.
I have a teacher question for you.
Okay.
Is a triangle, is that the angles add up to 180?
Yeah.
Or 360 degrees?
180.
Okay. That's because when you line it out, it makes a straight line, right? Or is that totally unrelated?
I think that's unrelated.
Okay.
Because any shape, you could line it out and make a straight line.
Well, I mean, I was saying like for a triangle, you unfold it, and if you drew a straight line at the bottom, then the obtuse angles that it would make on the outside of the triangle are. Never mind. I'm too stupid to have this conversation with you. So I'm like too stupid to even know close to what I'm talking about.
I mean, you did know that it was 180 though.
Oh, I love this. This is the best thing.
Slurp it a little louder into the mic. I don't think everyone in the whole world heard you drink that. You gotta quit with the mouth noises.
It's hard. I got a wet mouth.
Move away from your mic. Don't want to hear it in my headphones. It's grossing me out.
All right.
All right.
What's the Bridgewater Triangle?
This is an area of about 200 square miles in southeastern Massachusetts. Obviously, as the name suggests, it's shaped like a triangle. So the 3 points of the triangle are in the towns of Abington, Rehoboth, and Freetown. Within the triangle, it encompasses the towns of Taunton, Rainham, Berkeley, Dighton, Brockton, Easton, Norton, Mansfield, and Bridgewater. So sorry for those that I did not say correctly, because I know there were some of them. So the boundaries and the name of the Bridgewater Triangle were determined by a cryptozoologist named Loren Coleman. And he first came up with the name in 1970, but then described it later on again in his book called Mysterious America, written in 1983. So that's where it gets its name. And basically, this place is just filled to the brim with paranormal sightings and activity. All of them. They're all there. Okay. I found this quote from Chris Bolonzo. He's a folklorist and author of several books on the Bridgewater Triangle, and I love it. Okay, listen to what he said. Anything that you want to be in the triangle is in the triangle. It's a Pandora's box. So you're into zombies, there's stories about zombies. If you're into Bigfoot, he's there. If you're into puckwudgies, that's kind of puckwudgie central. If you're into ghosts, you've got it. UFOs, black helicopter, it's there.
Okay.
I love that. So, because of that, there's way too many things that happen in this triangle to discuss in one episode of the podcast. But we're going to cover several. Not like super detailed. This is more of an overview because a lot of the things that happen there, you could do deep dives on them for future episodes.
Yeah, we probably will.
Yeah. So I'm going to kind of give you an overview of some of the big things that happen there, but not super detailed. So don't ask me your obscure questions that you know I'm not going to know the answer to. Because I'm telling you up front, this is a summary, okay?
This is officially part 1 of Hannah's 27-part series on the Northeast.
Really, honestly, you could do that. Like, so much stuff goes on there. I was going to say you could fill books with things that happen there, but people actually have. Like, there's a lot. So, also, I wanted to mention that the boundaries of the triangle are not, like, super rigid. It's not like you just cross a line and nothing happens. There's paranormal activity can happen on the outskirts near the triangle, too. Like, you can go outside of the lines a little bit. It's not like a force field.
They put a line of salt in a triangle, and nothing bad happens outside of it.
No, it does kind of spread out from the triangle a little bit, but it's centered mostly within the triangle. So this also goes like through neighborhoods and towns and cities. It's not just land out in the middle of nowhere. Like it's in all those cities that I mentioned, you know, it goes through neighborhoods and things. All right, so some of the sightings that happen there, several. People will talk about seeing UFOs. There's been reports of bright balls of light, which makes me think probably orbs, but also of unusual spacecraft. Other sightings is weird animals. Now, this one did not stick out to me at first because it was like people see panthers and bears, and it said that's not natural to the area. And I was like, well, that can't be true. Surely that bears are natural. So I looked it up, and actually, I was wrong. In southeastern Massachusetts, they really don't have bears there. It's more over in the western part of Massachusetts, and then their territory kind of stops. But within the past few years, there's been more sightings of black bears moving over where they never were before.
Yeah.
But there's not, on record, there's not panthers, but people say that they see them. And I believe them because I stand by it that I saw a panther in West Virginia once. No one believes that story, but I will tell that till the day I die.
There's wolves here, too.
That I don't know about.
Supposedly, there is. I don't know that to be true. Supposedly, the DNR has a record of wolves and panthers both being in West Virginia. Supposedly.
I am 100% sure I saw a panther. But anyway, there's also...
I'm 100% sure I saw a cougar
yeah.
in Beckley the other day. And her name...
There's also reports of seeing giant snakes and enormous dogs. And you had an experience with an enormous dog. I don't know if you might want to tell that at some point.
Yeah.
But you did. Do you want to tell that now or save it?
Sure. I was driving down the road in the backwoods, a.k.a.
You were in your Jeep that you had at the time, right?
Yeah, I had a Jeep. Mm-hmm. And it was super late. And I was past this... Like on one side of the road, there's a house in a clearing, and on the other side, there's a big horse field. And I was like, oh, one of these horses got out because it's standing in the middle of the road. And I got up closer to it, and it was just like completely black. And I was like, that doesn't look like one of those horses because I pass past this field all the time. And I thought it might have been like a cow, but it was kind of too skinny. And then my Jeep's kind of set up a little high anyway, but mine also was lifted and had huge tires on it. And I kind of was driving past it, and I realized that's a dog, but it was tall enough that, like, on all fours, its head was like as tall as my window, which is not normal dog sized, like even like Great Danes.
Right, because like you said, your Jeep was higher up.
Yeah,
Jeeps are high up anyway, but yours was even higher.
Yeah, so, and I was like, well, that's weird. And then I was...
That's weird.
Yeah. So, and I'm not like, I don't know. I'm not like, I don't really get spooked like when I see weird stuff out in like the wood, because it could literally be anything. Like,
yeah,
horses, cows.
There's a lot of wildlife.
People's cows get out literally all the time.
Yeah.
Or like the horses get out literally all the time. Mm-hmm. Like,
or there's deer all over the place. There's dogs everywhere. Like, it's not uncommon to see animals out and about. That's a daily occurrence. Bears
in the road, like, you know.
Yeah.
There was even a time, I remember when I was a photographer and I went into our office that morning, I was running a little bit late because I had to help the neighbor get a cow back into his field. Cow got out into our yard. And I got into work and I was like, hey, check out this cow that was in my yard. And the office lady was like, there was a cow in your, what? How that? I was like, it's cow farm.
Don't have cows outside.
So, and she was like, oh, I thought, but no, literally all the time. So, but, yeah, then, so I it sort of like moved kind of out of the way, I guess, in the side of the road, but it was like looking at me.
We're back to talking about the dog, right?
Yeah.
The big dog.
And so I just kind of like started to drive past, and then I like kept picking up speed, and I realized it's like right next to me. And I was like,
that's so scary.
I was like, I gotta go. And so I just sped up and left it. But yeah.
It kept up with you for a second, didn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. And I looked down, I was going like 25 or 30.
Yeah.
So, which I understand animals can run that fast, but it was just odd. So,
yeah, and it was enormous.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah, so there might be more of those little, whatever those things are in this Bridgewater Triangle.
Yeah.
Now they also have thunderbirds. I feel like, did you briefly talk about them when you did the things from every state?
Yeah.
Okay. So giant birds, wingspans up to like 12 feet.
By the way, I look at our numbers sometimes, and I was looking, the part 1 for Monsters of Every State has like 3 or 4 times as many downloads as part 2. So for the people that haven't seen part 2, because I know usually like algorithms don't usually treat like multi-part series very well.
Yeah.
If you haven't heard part 2, go to that and listen also.
So there was one sighting of a thunderbird was reported by a man named Thomas Downey in 1971. He was a Norton police sergeant. Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Norton police sergeant. Everybody knows.
So he saw it while he was driving home, And he reported it to the Easton police because that's where he was. And he just got made fun of for it. They ridiculed him. Like, just really, I'm sure you can imagine how that went down.
Saw a big bird in the sky. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so that wasn't really taken very seriously, but he's not the only one that's seen them. There's also been cult activity within the triangle. So numerous cases of animal mutilation have been reported, especially near Freetown and Fall River.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote about 2 specific incidents. Both happened in 1998. There was one where a single adult cow was found butchered in the woods, just kind of away from everything. And then the other, in that same year, there was a group of calves that were found in a clearing, and they had been, like, mutilated in a way that was like it was part of a ritual sacrifice. So pretty grotesque.
When you said there was a cow butchered, I just thought of, like, they had, like, steaks wrapped in, like, those, like, butcher papers and just
like
laid out.
In a cooler, like, waiting for somebody to come back.
Yeah. It's like,
no, I don't think it was that tight.
Really courteous of them just to do it in the woods. And
sad. There's also tales of Native American curses on the land. So one legend says the land was cursed by Native Americans because during King Philip's War, which was in the 1600s, this thing called the wampum belt was lost, and that was something that was really important to the Wampanoag people, an artifact for them that had a lot of significance. That war happened from 1675 to 1676, and it was the bloodiest battle in U.S. or British history ever. I saw a statistic that said 75 to 80% of Native Americans there were wiped out, and 25% of the colonists were wiped out. So, like, per capita, it had the most casualties between the U.S. and British history ever.
Yeah.
So,
is like, that kind of stuff happened, like, all over the place. I'm sure there's, like, all kinds of
well, as
American
far as it's
land
documented, So the idea
cursed.
is that because they had such bad casualties from that, was that the land was cursed after.
Yeah. It's like, to throw a rock, you'll hit a piece of cursed Native American land in America. It's
for good reason.
They
weren't treated great.
So what's the wampum? You don't know what the Wampanoag belt is?
The wampum belt?
Yeah, wampum belt.
No, I didn't get too deep into it because I thought maybe that'd be something cool we could talk about later.
Okay.
But just that it was an artifact that had a lot of significance for them, and it got lost. Now, there's some other sightings and entities. There's been reports of Bigfoot-type creatures in the woods, ghosts, poltergeists, shadow people, and puckwudgies. So for us, we just talked about puckwudgies last week. For the listeners, it's been a little while. But
yeah, it's been 2 months ago.
So I guess that this is where the majority of puckwudgie sightings happen, actually, is in southeastern Massachusetts within this triangle. It's not the only place they can be seen, but that seems to be kind of like their home at the moment, I guess.
Yeah, because the giant threw them.
Yeah, he launched them to Massachusetts. All right, now there are some notable landmarks within the Bridgewater Triangle I want to tell you about, because some of them are pretty spooky.
Okay.
So we have the Freetown Fall River State Forest, and this is where a lot of the cult activity happened. They had animal sacrifice, ritualistic murders, and suicides within this forest. So bad stuff. This next thing is also at the forest. This is the one that kind of really freaks me out. It's called the Assinet Ledge. This is a place where a lot of people have gone to commit suicide. And it's said that even people who have never had that urge before feel like they want to jump when they stand on this rock.
Huh.
And there's a name for that phenomenon.
Oh.
What is it called?
It's French. It means the
like in the
call of the void.
Yes.
Is what it's called. I forget what the French version of that is.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So apparently it happens really intensely there. Even people that are just like out hiking that had no intention of harming themselves or had anything like that, perfectly healthy people that are out hiking, when they go to this rock, they get the urge to jump off of it. That freaks me out. That's really spooky.
Yeah, spook.
Yep. Now then we have Profile Rock. This is a place where Anawan, who was a Wampanoag historical figure, received the lost wampum belt from King Philip. So I guess they found it and got it back. Yeah. So here, the ghost of a man can be seen sitting on the rock with his legs crossed and his arms stretched out. So that's interesting. Guess he just hangs out there.
He's got the belt.
Yeah.
And it's like he's like holding it up like a he's like the champ. Got the belt.
Like the heavyweight belt.
Yeah, it's like got the
Maybe.
the wampum belt has like that WWE spinner that John Cena used to have.
Yeah.
And that's why it's sacred, because it's been.
Yeah. Okay, and then there is the Solitude Stone.
Ooh.
So this is like an inscribed stone. It has an inscription carved on it. It's located near Forest Street in West Bridgewater. And this was discovered actually because there was a missing person's body that was found. When they found the body, they also found this stone because it was hidden under a bunch of overgrown moss and stuff that had been hiding it. And so that's how it was found. It's thought to be carved by Reverend Timothy Otis Payne of the New Church of Jerusalem. This is a Christian sect founded on the principles of Emanuel Swedenborg, who was like an occultist guy, and his philosophies were said to influence Freemasonry. So there's a lot of stuff right there in that one little note.
It's a Christian sect that was founded by an occultist
named Emanuel Swedenborg, whose
who
philosophies also influenced Freemasonry.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the inscription on the stone says this: "All ye who in future days walk by Nunkatesset stream, love not him who hummed his lay, cheerful to the parting beam, but the beauty that he wooed in this quiet solitude."
So what do you make of that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I need someone smarter than me to read it and tell me what it means.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, also, moving on. Bridgewater State University has several rooms and buildings on campus that are allegedly haunted. Similar to that, Taunton State Hospital has reports of visitors that describe paranormal experiences such as being touched or pulled, like having their clothing pulled or a pulling feeling on their arms and legs as they walk through certain parts of the hospital.
Doesn't like a lot of colleges seem to have haunted places?
Yes. Yeah.
Concord has that.
For sure. And do you think it's just because like a lot of these university buildings have been there a while?
Yeah.
And so there's like more history there?
Yeah. I mean, WVU is said to have like ghosts, but I don't know how.
Yeah.
I never had any ghostly experiences there. So
I think I saw some spooky stuff at Concord a couple times, but I
yeah.
don't know.
Concord's definitely way more haunted than WVU is.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
It's been there a long time.
So I don't know. I mean, how long is it? Is it? They were built like
18
around the same
something.
time, right? I think WVU was there in the 1800s, 1870 something.
Yeah.
But the Catholic building was the one that everybody said was haunted.
Oh, probably.
And then some of the older halls, and then the big one with the clock that everybody takes a picture of, and for the life of me, I always forget the name of it. But it's a huge building. Everybody says that three in that little square, people say those have ghosts.
You know who we could ask? I bet that could help us. Abe Lilly, who helped me on the Helen Keller one.
Yeah.
Found the archives. Because I've been told that there's a tunnel system that runs under Concord, and I have looked and can't find any information about that. So that could be made up. But if it's real, I want to know.
Is it, what kind of tunnel system? Is it like just like a maintenance tunnel, or is it like...
No, like that people used.
Is it like Underground Railroad tunnel system?
The Underground Railroad was not underground.
I know that. I'm saying, is it something people use to escape, or is it something that...
I think it was for people to walk through, not like it's not like sewer tunnels.
Okay. So
no, I can't find any info about it. It's just like gossip.
Right.
I would like to know.
Got another thing to talk about tunnels to secret United States military bases.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Like the one...
You need to do that episode.
The one at the Boy Scout camp that President Obama built.
You have to do that episode.
Oh my God.
That's interesting. Okay, I was talking about Taunton State Hospital. There's also claims that some parts of that hospital were used by satanic cults in the 1960s and 70s. I don't know why they would use it.
Nice.
I don't know.
We are going to do eventually an episode on like satanic panic thing.
Okay. By we, you mean you?
I'm going to put it on you.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
I think that was more like 80s, 90s kind of thing, but yeah, it's very much like everybody was really freaking out about like satanic cults running, doing rituals in hospitals and out in the graveyards and stuff. And
yeah,
they're turning your kids into Satanists, listening to that heavy metal music, and it's literally just Slayer. Like,
okay. Another landmark within the triangle is called the Hornbein School. It was a one-room schoolhouse built during the 1840s and used until 1937, so almost 100 years. And it's said to be haunted by the people that used it, or like that inhabited it, so students and teachers and whoever else was in the building. And you can, I think, do tours of this place, and people will talk about like hearing voices and footsteps and all your normal haunting factors.
that was a school?
Yeah, a one-room schoolhouse.
Jeez, that sucks to be a ghost in a school. Like, you die and get taken to the place that you're at the most, and it's school. And you're like, oh,
Yeah.
gotta have math class for the rest of eternity.
Yeah.
It's a ghost.
There's this other thing, it's called Dighton Rock. And this is covered in symbols and drawings and like inscriptions, but it's in a language that has not yet been identified. So nobody knows what it says or what all the drawings mean. But you can also do a tour here, but you have to book in advance. You can't just show up. So heads up for anybody that wanted to see it.
They've never found
Plan
anything
ahead.
that's like similar to it, or like
No, I mean, there's been some theories, but nothing definitively that says this is what these things mean. So that's kind of weird. All right, and then the last big landmark I want to talk about is called the Hockomock Swamp.
say it again for the people in the back.
Hockomock Swamp.
Okay. Hockomock Swamp.
Yes.
Swamp.
This is considered to be a major hotspot, I guess you would call it, within the Bridgewater Triangle. Lots of weird activity here.
Yep. Gators.
Because, of course, do you want to guess why it has a lot of paranormal activity?
Let me guess. Hockomock Swamp. That's got paranormal activity. Either because the Indians had it and they cursed it, or because there's devil worshippers, or because people drowned in the swamp, or because witches.
2 out of 4 of those, maybe.
Okay.
Okay, so it was used by the Wampanoag during King Philip's War as to kind of like give them a barrier, provide protection, because you can't just run through a swamp. The name means place where spirits dwell, because it's also an 8,000-year-old Native American burial ground.
Neat.
Yes, it's 5,000 acres. It's full of like quicksand, sinkholes, other hazards.
They didn't even have to bury them. They just chucked them in the swamp.
Yeah.
And they just sunk, and it did it for them.
I mean, probably.
Jeez. Yeah. I used to think, have we mentioned this on the podcast, that like I used to think quicksand would be a lot worse.
Yeah, I think we talked about it on the Puckwudgies episode, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Thought quicksand would be a lot more of an issue than
we
it
talked
really
about
is.
that and lava.
Lava.
I was really scared of lava.
Vines, snakes.
Yeah.
Alligators, crocodiles.
Okay, also this swamp is where most of the Puckwudgies are located.
Aha!
It's their home. They love it.
They like the swamp.
Yeah. Probably because they can like lure people into a sinkhole or lure them into the quicksand.
Yep.
And they can get the sand to throw in people's eyes.
You think they're just like that? Have you seen the videos of that guy he's like British or whatever, and he's like, I've got my wellies on. We're going in this bowl.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good thing about wellies is your feet feel wet, but they're bone dry.
Yeah.
Love those videos so much. That's what
That's funny.
Puckwudgies like about the swamp.
They can wear. Do you think they wear wellies?
No, they wear American boots.
That they took. they stole from people.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Okay. I have a couple like miscellaneous stories to tell you from things that have happened to people there that I didn't really know where else to put them.
Okay.
These are grouped together. So in 1979, two radio reporters from a station called WHDH, they're from Boston. They saw a UFO in West Bridgewater, and they said it was shaped like a home plate.
What?
Like a baseball home plate.
Shut up.
That it had red lights and it had a front headlight. So that's kind of cool.
Next story. I'm already tired of it.
Rude.
He had his high beams on and
that's funny.
He wouldn't turn them off. And yeah, okay.
Now this next one is called the Red-Headed Hitchhiker, and there are a lot of reports about this guy.
Redheads in the Northeast, lots of redheads.
This has been experienced by a ton of people.
Okay.
So on Route 44, people will be driving along and they see a man with a red beard, plaid flannel shirt, and jeans. Is this you, Shane?
It's me.
Are you the Red-Headed Hitchhiker? As you sit across from me with a red beard, a plaid flannel, and jeans on? Oh my gosh. I made my notes and didn't realize it was you until I just said it out loud and looked at you. Shane, we solved it. Shane is the Red-Headed Hitchhiker. Holy moly.
It's me.
I don't know how you do it, but apparently
got my thumb out.
You'll be hitchhiking and then you'll just suddenly disappear. Yep. That's a cool party trick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do it.
We looked at each other at the same time. We were like, oh my gosh. There's a couple ways the story will vary. Some people say they'll disappear, the hitchhiker will disappear as they're driving up to him and then he'll vanish. Others say they have actually like picked him up and he's gotten in the backseat of their car before he has vanished. And they'll just kind of hear like laughter lingering and then he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to share with the class how you learned how to do that, that'd be cool. All right.
Yeah, I was.
That's really
you
funny.
were like, he's got a red beard and a plaid flannel
and jeans.
And I was like, are you doing a bit?
That's funny. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. We realized at the same time. I love that. Okay, next miscellaneous story. In 1892 in Fall River, you'll recognize this name, Lizzie Borden was tried and acquitted for the axe murders of her father and stepmother.
Took an axe, gave her father 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, gave her mother 41.
Yep.
Is it reversed? Gave her father 41.
I don't know.
Lizzie Borden did it. Guilty.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think you said she was acquitted, right?
She was, but it doesn't necessarily mean she didn't do it.
Yeah, the
okay.
Classic OJ story.
Yeah, so some more like true crime things that have happened within the Triangle, in addition to the Lizzie Borden. In Fall River, there were these infamous cult murderers named Carl Drew and Robin Murphy, and they held rituals in the forest and had a hut in the middle of it that had been found.
It's like a witch hut,
Weird.
It's got like chicken feet hanging outside of it and everything, or it's just like a shack or something.
Like a shack.
Oh, okay.
It was kind of covered up a little bit, but not that much. This next one is very sad. I don't have a lot of details on this one because it was upsetting and I didn't want to read about it anymore. But police have also, within this like forest, found an underground bunker where a couple would abuse their adopted children.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't want to look into that one any farther, so that's it on that. In 1978, this one's also very sad. There was a 15-year-old named Mary Lou Arruda. She was kidnapped, and then 2 months later, she was found deceased tied to a tree within the forest. So there's lots of like paranormal, spooky stuff that's happened there, but also lots of just like really bad crime that has taken place within this triangle. So probably does not contribute well to the things that go on there.
Probably not.
Bad stuff, evil stuff.
Tell me more about the hitchhiker. I like that better.
Yeah, that's a fun one because he doesn't hurt anybody. He just scares them. I like that one. He just tries to bum a ride and then he disappears and does it again and again.
Doesn't even pay for gas money.
Right. He just leaves people confused. That one's fun.
So are we,
so much.
Any of these that we're going to do do you have another topic?
I was just going to tell you where this has been talked about in the media, but that's it. It's just 2 little things.
Okay, go ahead and do that.
So there was a documentary called The Bridgewater Triangle from 2013.
Uh-huh.
And then this was also featured in an episode, like it was the whole topic of an episode of Beyond Skinwalker Ranch on the History Channel. So if people can watch those to learn more if they want to. That's the end of my notes. So you were asking is like what should we dive deeper on?
Yeah, what are you going to do more things on? Because
I think I would like to learn more about King Philip's War and like the significance of the wampum belt and how that all kind of played out. Like get some more details about that. And then, I don't know, some of these are maybe like look into Bridgewater State University and see why it's haunted. Like what happened there.
Yeah. Are we going to do a Lizzie Borden episode?
Maybe. The true crime ones are not my favorite topics.
Yeah.
I don't know. You seem to lean towards those a little more than me.
Some of the ones like legitimately creep me out. Like,
yeah,
Lizzie Borden.
Some of them are really weird.
Spooks me. I really don't care enough about like the true crime stuff to do like a murder just for the sake of it being like a murder.
Yeah.
But like
the Fall River cult murderers I mentioned, Carl Drew and Robin Murphy, that would probably make for a good episode, but it's not really one that I personally want to learn more about because it's upsetting.
Yeah.
But it would make there's a lot to it, I'm sure. So I don't know. I'll stick with like why are these places haunted or why do they have cryptids? That's kind of more of the topics I like.
There's a few things that I want to do that are more like, I guess, true crimey.
Yeah.
But not because they're true crime. It's because they creep me out.
Yeah, like the last one you did, I keep forgetting the guy's name.
Charles Morgan.
Yes, that was weird. That's a weird one.
I like doing those because there's conspiracy involved.
Yeah.
And so it's more about the conspiracy and less about the guy.
Yeah.
It's more about the story and less about the guy being killed. Mm-hmm. There's a few that I kind of want to get into that are like cowboys because I like cowboys, but there's not very many of them that aren't just like this gang of guys went around and robbed banks and trains and shot people. And which all in all is a cool story, but not for the podcast.
Yeah. I'm going to pull up our doc and see what.
There's a few stories that are like cowboy ghost stories and stuff I'd like to do. I
know you're going to do Danny Casolero next, but I would be really interested in you doing a tunnels/bunker episode sometime.
Yeah.
I know that's kind of like a big one for you to take on because there's a lot to it, but it's good stuff.
I've been wanting to do more conspiracies this year. And the issue with doing conspiracies is that because I'm so into conspiracies, I feel like I lean into them a little bit more than I probably should. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people don't lean into them.
There's a lot of them.
They should. Especially because there's so many conspiracies that are just true. Like,
yeah.
I want to do a lot of like true conspiracies, like maybe like a series of episodes on those where it's like, hey, this is something bad that happened that, hey, guess what? The government admitted to doing it. Like the Tuskegee experiments and stuff.
Yeah.
Where they went into like poor African American cities and towns.
Be safe driving home.
We're here. Back.
We've had incredible technical difficulties. We may or may not have lost this entire episode. This is the end.
If we did, then it's the end, and you can follow us and stuff on Instagram and Facebook, Country Roads Creeps. Be safe driving home. Watch over the not deer.
Pray that we didn't lose this entire episode. Bye.
Yeah, I bet we probably did.
Oh no.